Hello, muses, and welcome in. We have the powerful nodal shift happening Sunday, July 26th. And you probably have heard people talking about it in the online spaces. And I wanted to come in and do a little astro forecast and tarot reading for you all. So, this astro, oh my goodness, this astrological transit is a powerful turning point for humanity. Okay. The lunar nodes shifting at this time with so many outer planets shifting signs as well means that there's massive change happening for the collective. And we have the North Node entering Aquarius and the South Node entering Leo, which is starting this new chapter that's guiding us until March 2028. And so I have been consciously working with the eclipses for 4 years, around 4 years. And I love working with eclipses as they move in cycles because there's so much that gets revealed to us. And I'm going to share what that's going to be about for the collective. And you're probably already feeling it. I know I am. So, again, this nodal transit is going to be active until March 26th, 2028, which means that as we move through the different solar and lunar eclipses from now until then, we're going to be transiting through this energy. So, this is considered to be a very significant astrological shift because when the nodes change signs, they reveal where our souls and our collective consciousness is being invited to grow. So, the past 18 months, the North Node has journeyed through Leo, inviting us to reclaim our individuality, to rediscover our creativity and what really lights us up, reconnect with the wisdom of our hearts, stop leading so much from the mind and really living and leading from the heart. So, now the invitation is shifting. We are shifting from this energy of who am I becoming to who are we becoming? Okay. In astrology, the lunar nodes act as a compass. Okay. So the south node is considered to be very familiar territory. And our own south node in our birth chart is going to reflect where we've inherited gifts. It's going to represent old identities, karmic patterns, and ways of being that are no longer serving us or maybe limiting our growth. Now, the North Node is then pointing towards the future. So, in your birth chart, your North Node is going to ask you to stretch beyond what feels familiar for you. And that's what's going to support in the next evolution and for both yourself and for the collective. Okay. And so there's no good or bad when it comes to the nodes, right? Like sometimes the South Node sometimes gets a bad rap, and I never understood that because the South Node offers us so much wisdom. I mean, I even work with it as when I'm reading birth charts, the South Node is a representation of the life that you lived last, your last incarnation on Earth. And so there's what are you bringing from that past life with your South Node into this life, right? And then the North Node is the possibility. The North Node is who you're becoming, what you're being invited to work towards, the energy that you are learning to embody on a deeper level, and that you're going to not just embody, obviously, for yourself, but actually, your North Node has a lot of influence on the work that you do. Um, in whatever vocation, career, mission that you have. So there's this closing chapter with Leo happening because since the beginning of 2025, we have been learning the medicine of Leo, right? We have been reclaiming our voices. I'm seeing that so much in the collective. It's so beautiful. We're healing our relationship with visibility. We're learning again to create from our hearts and lead with courage and tap into our uniqueness, right? Like let it shine. And many of us, I feel, in the last year and a half have shared our stories in a more profound way, or maybe even we're working to share our stories. I know a lot of people in my circles and in my communities are writers, they're authors, they're authoring right now, right? They're birthing books. Maybe some of you have been feeling like you just stepped into leadership in a more integral, heart-centered way. Some people have maybe launched businesses or had complete like rebrands in their businesses. Um, and really just speaking our truth. And so all of what we've learned with that energy for the last year and a half, those lessons aren't just disappearing with the nodes changing. They're becoming the foundation for what comes next. And that is supporting us in sharing our light with the collective because we're moving into this age of we with Aquarius being the north node. Aquarius is the visionary and the innovator, and they are humanitarians at heart. So when we think about Leo teaching us about ourselves, Aquarius is really going to teach us about one another. So this transit is inviting us to shift from individual achievement towards collective flourishing. And this is going to be bringing up a lot of old conditioning for us as a collective around competition and learning how to shift the subtle energy of competition to collaboration and connection. And so there has been this kind of hierarchical energy with us transiting through the North Node and Leo through the last year and a half. You know, like there's this like, how can I succeed? And that's beautiful. We were meant to be reflecting on that energy and deepening into that. But now it's focusing on how can my gifts contribute to the healing of the whole. And so you're not abandoning all your dreams that are like, personal to you, but you're recognizing how those dreams directly affect the collective. And the intentional, conscious choices you make with your time, your money, your resources, your energy, like that creates a ripple effect. And so we are really going to see monumental change from now until March 2028, end of March 2028. Oh, well, and beyond. But we're going to really see a lot of change, and it's going to be happening from the communities coming together. And we're already seeing that. Like there's so many instances of communities coming together around the world to make sure that there's equanimity, true equanimity. And so it's like that, the power to the people energy. So Aquarius carries the frequency of collective action. And we feel that frequency when people come together and remember their power. And when we look back at Aquarius North Node cycles in history, they have coincided with many periods of profound societal transformation. And every era will express this energy differently. But what we see is these cycles often coincide with humanity reimagining how power is distributed and whose voices are amplified and what kind of future is possible. Okay. When the Berlin Wall went down, we were under a North Node, the Aquarius North Node, just to give you an idea of the type of energy that it can bring. So we are going to witness growing movements. I like to call them growing movements that are centered around community initiatives and cooperative models and digital freedom and workers' rights and local resilience and just like new ways of organizing ourselves outside of traditional hierarchies. This isn't simply political, it's spiritual, right? Because Aquarius reminds us that liberation is not something achieved by a single hero. Liberation emerges when enough people begin dreaming together and taking aligned action together. And so, as this nodal cycle unfolds, we may witness remarkable developments in AI, in clean energy, in regenerative technologies. Why is that word so hard? Decentralized economies, education, and new forms of digital collaboration. And this is also being influenced by Uranus and Gemini. That's happening for the next 7 years. And the Chiron transiting through Taurus for the next 7 years. Like there's so much changing in astrology and in the skies. But this nodal shift is going to give it, it's going to like amplify that frequency. So this transit actually poses a very important question. Like technology is evolving. It always it's like humanity, right? Like humanities are always evolving. How do we evolve together? Like, can innovation be rooted in compassion? Can our digital spaces become places of genuine connection rather than endless consumption? That's the questions that we're going to be asking ourselves. Those are the shifts that we're going to be seeing. Like, perhaps, excuse me, perhaps we'll witness a renewed desire for technology that serves people before it profits off the people. Perhaps younger generations will continue to reshape the digital landscape in unexpected ways. I mean, we are seeing this. I'm a millennial, and the generations below me are definitely, I am feeling their passion towards reshaping the digital landscape. So it's happening. Perhaps we'll remember that our progress isn't measured solely by our advancement, but by whether advancement creates greater belonging, freedom, and dignity for all. And that is like a really big one to sit with. And so I want to speak to the South Node in Leo a little bit more. So the South Node entering Leo is not asking us to move away from like that powerful, aligned, sacred energy of Leo that is connected to joy and creativity and self expression and art and leadership. But it's asking us to release the shadows and the distortions of the Leo energy. So, the places where the need to be seen becomes louder than the truth wanting to be expressed. The places where individuality becomes performance, where identity becomes fixed around being exceptional or special, and where our worth becomes dependent on applause, recognition, validation, and being chosen. And so you probably are feeling this already. I know I am. It's like coming up loud and clear in my life. And it's because this transit is really inviting us to bring compassion to our inner child. Like most of us learned that visibility meant safety, but I don't mean like visibility as being in like praised or complimented or like affirmed for your gifts. I mean visibility around like the ways you got visibility through your wounding. And so that could be through sickness, that could be through like feeling special. That's a big one that I'm working through. And so getting curious on the part of yourself who at one point and probably unconsciously still believes this, that in order to be loved, they needed to shine brighter, work harder, entertain more, become extraordinary, have all the likes, have more followers, have more clothes, have more this and that, certifications, whatever it is. And so this nodal shift the South Node transiting through Leo is like really asking us to soften ourselves and just tend to those parts so that we can really teach the younger part within ourselves that they do not need to perform to be worthy, right? Your heart, your sweetheart, it does not need applause, does not need performance. Like, love has never been something you need to earn. And so the South Node transiting through Leo is really helping you remember how to love yourself on a really deep level. And Jupiter in Leo is really supporting us with this, right? Jupiter is expanding the heart being in Leo until July 2027. And it's asking us with this nodal transit to just let ourselves be authentic. I mean, Leo is expanding and Jupiter and Leo is expanding creativity and joy and confidence and romance and art and leadership and play. It is reminding us that we came here to create, to express, to live our lives. And so the South Node simultaneously journeying through Leo means that Jupiter is going to illuminate what is ready to be released. I'm going to speak to some that I'm working through. Just call myself out because why not? Our attachment to being perceived in a certain way, our deep unconscious hunger for recognition, the performance of confidence instead of embodiment, and identities that have been built around being special or gifted or needed or indispensable. And so we are getting curious as these come up and we're working to release them with this transit. Because this is really going to support us with belonging, right? A lot of us try to belong through sameness, through approval, through performing the version of ourselves we think we need to be in order to be accepted by others. But what we're really learning through this nodal shift is belonging through resonance, belonging through shared vision, belonging through communities where our uniqueness is not tolerated, but it's literally essential for the community to thrive. And one of the reasons I love Aquarius energy is because beneath all of that, like futuristic vibes that Aquarius gets like labeled as, it's very ancient energy as well. It reminds us that healing has never happened in isolation. Healing has always happened around fires and in circles and at tables and in villages and through song and through ritual and through dance and through people remembering they belong to one another. And so this nodal shift isn't asking us to invent a new way. It's remembering what we've always known in our hearts. The future is collaborative and relational and woven together. And so I want to pull some tarot cards for us with this nodal shift and just support you with whatever you're moving through in your experience. So maybe you are feeling some of this energy around what you are meant to release, what you're meant to let go of, how you're meant to stay anchored into your truth while still tending to the collective in the ways that you desire and the ways that are part of your sacred soul mission. Ooh, okay. See how many cards are here. Four cards, four cards. Oh, okay. Let's see how we want to work with this. Oh, okay. Let me just sit with this for a moment. Wow, there's a lot of collective influence in this reading. And so, I'm reading directly to you, watching this video. And so I'm sensing that there is a lot of energetic influence from people in your life. And so this is giving us really good information of not getting swept up in the collective's chaos or drama or internalizing and personalizing things that people are sharing with you, things that you're being told, things that you're feeling. Like a lot of what we're moving through right now isn't even ours, which is really interesting. So we're starting with the King of Cups reversed. And so what that's telling me is if you don't give yourself space to move through some deep emotions this weekend, it's going to come into it's going to come really head on by the full moon. And the full moon is on July 29th in Aquarius. And we also have a Jupiter Cazimi happening that day. So giving yourself space to really feel, because when the King of Cups comes up reversed, like he is not connected. Like he might be thinking he's feeling his emotions, but he's really just staying on the surface because it feels unconsciously inconvenient to connect with the deeper stuff. It feels easier to continue to put blame on the other. Like the King of Cups reversed is you think of the King of Cups upright and being someone who is deeply connected to their emotions, but they're also diplomatic because they're not allowing their emotional emotions to cloud their judgment. They're not basing their perception purely on the emotional charge. And so the King of Cups reversed is doing that, right? So getting really curious where that's showing up for you. I shared pretty much all of my own shit as I was telling you what's happening with this transit. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of that's coming up for you and it's some unconscious inflated ego energy. And again, if you don't give yourself time, space, and permission to be with it, it's going to come out sideways. And I'm actually feeling like what really needs to be processed for some of you is anger. There's a lot of unconscious anger running through the collective right now. And there's a lot of people who have been feeling like irritable and passive aggressive and this need to prove. And it's just like a lot of unconscious anger. Okay, we have the temperance. Temper it, temper those emotions. I always laugh when temperance comes up. I'm like, oh yeah. We're going to extremes when temperance comes up. Um, Extremes of opinions, extremes of beliefs. It's black and white, it's all or nothing. It's, you know, I know because I've had that experience, so you must be having the exact same experience as me. Like, where are you enmeshed in someone else's experience that, yeah, there might be some similarities, but it really doesn't have anything to do with you. But you might be hyper fixated and focused on that instead of focusing on the emotions and the anger that really need to come through about stuff in your own life, right? Like mine was coming through as passive aggressive, weird energy coming out sideways, right? And I could feel it happening for myself. And a friend lovingly called me out on it. And I worked through it with my co coach. I'm still working through it. Like there's stuff going on, and it's okay. Like we are all going through it right now, but really getting curious where again there's like unconscious enmeshment happening with other people. And I'm saying it with other people because we literally have the King of Cups reversed, the Page of Swords reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Like three of the four cards are court cards, my friends. And we know with court cards that there often is a lot of other energy at play. It's not just purely what's happening for ourselves. Um, And with the temperance coming through as a major arcana card, like I know that the other energy is then reflecting it back through us. And so I very much also get Isis energy from this card. Like I see the wings on her. I very much remind me of Isis. And so her energy I'm feeling is coming through this reading to not just support you like through this weekend and into the full moon over the next couple of days, over the next week, but as we go through this nodal transit for the next year and a half, why can't I do math? Anyway, till the end of March 2028, I'm like, what is time? Um, you are you are a magician. You are an alchemist. And so when you allow yourself to actually feel what is happening here for you, not for the other person that you might be enmeshed with, um, you're going to transmute it so much quicker than you actually freaking know and believe right now. Like there's just like it's almost like you're forgetting how powerful you are at processing and integrating your triggers. And so the other thing I'm getting from Isis is a little bit of soul retrieval. And so sometimes with soul retrieval, we can do it on our own, but more often than not, it's really supportive when we have someone else. So you know I love to support with soul retrievals in the Akashic Records. You can always book an Akashic Record healing session with me. But you can do meditations to support with soul retrieval. You can bring it up with your own mentor, therapist, or guide. But you can also do it on your own. Like, really, what I'm feeling is forgiveness, like forgiving yourself for not feeling the stuff and getting caught up in the other bullshit and being acting out of integrity and coming from an inflated ego, like forgiving those parts of yourself because there's nothing wrong with it. Like, we're human. We have reactions and responses. And when we have the awareness around them, I mean, that's the first step because a lot of people have awareness and they choose not to do anything different. But we have the awareness and we choose to move through it so that we can respond differently. Like, that's how we shift, evolve, and change and grow and become more of ourselves and less of that enmeshed energy. So, with the Page of Swords reversed, what I'm sensing is that whatever, okay, actually, I'm gonna put it this way. Maybe some of you are watching this video and you're like, I don't know what Hannah is talking about. Like I can't relate this to anything in my life. And that might be truth for you. But I don't think so. I feel that it's showing up for those of you who are having a hard time identifying through the thing that you can't stop thinking about. It's like whatever you're ruminating on. Could be the conversation, it could be an interaction you had with like a loved one or a stranger, it could be a fight, it could be someone like not purchasing something from you when saying they were going to. Like there's just whatever. Just was there was some examples coming through. So clearly that's happening for some of you. But yeah, it's like, where are you ruminating? Because I really like the Page of Swords, this energy cuts through the illusion and it knows that whatever is showing up in your experience that is stretching you is allowing you to, again, become more of you, become more embodied in who you are. And so ruminating on the thing, it's not serving you. And it's actually keeping you in very much like little girl energy. It feels very manipulative as well because the Queen of Pentacles reversed, like similar to that King of Cups energy, she's not acting in integrity. She's doing whatever she can to make her feel safe. And so some of this energy that's coming through is like where we are unconsciously still in survival states. Right? And I feel like the ruminating is really keeping us in unconscious survival states. And then because we're not feeling. So the best thing we can do as we move through this nodal transit is to continue to come back to us and to feel into our bodies and our hearts what's going on. Because like I mentioned, there is going to be so much monumental change that happens through this nodal shift that influences every single one of us. It influences the entire collective. And we know what happens when the collective goes through massive change. Like, people get really scared. I would say 99% of the world does not know how to move through change. Most of us resist change. And you could sit here being like, I'm a Scorpio. So that's sometimes what I'm like, I'm a Scorpio. I can change. Like, I love transformation. I love cycles. But I'm unconscious to my own shit still, too. So getting very, very curious as these changes happen in the collective, how that energy is affecting you. And is it your truth? Because for me personally, there's a lot that's happening in the collective that's very chaotic, and none of it's my truth. And I do not subscribe to it, and I do not give in to the narratives. And some people are very uncomfortable with that. Now, does it mean that I don't have open ended hearted conversations with people who have different perspectives and views? Oh my God, of course not. I love having those types of conversations. Shout out to my brother-in-law. He and I often have those kind of conversations. And my best friend's partners. These conversations with men a lot who are like, are curious, and maybe women too, but it's this energy of being curious to expanding our perception, right? So it's like there's that Aquarian energy with that North Node of being curious, of expanding our perception, while also noticing, okay, where am I taking some of this personally, South Node and Leo energy, so that I can use that as information to alchemize my stuff. Because if there's any card from these four that I could bring us back to for what's happening in this nodal shift, it is the energy of temperance. And so noticing where the pendulum is swinging really far in one direction and then really far in another direction, and seeing how you can come back to neutrality. And neutrality doesn't mean that you're not feeling your emotions. Neutrality means that you're not making these situations mean anything about you, because this nodal shift, there's a really incredible opportunity for us to do some really deep healing around unprocessed and unconscious triggers that have to do with our visibility and being seen and being in community and shining our light, um, and just letting the protective parts of the ego begin to really soften. So thank you, my loves, for tuning in. Happy nodal shift, and I cannot wait to connect on the full moon. I'll see you then.